Welcome. My name is Sammy Kaplan, and this is one of the many classes offered at the Duke University Medical Center Library and Archives. Today, we're learning how to write a better abstract. Our objectives are to define the purpose of abstracts for manuscripts. Notice we're talking about abstracts for full-length papers, not short conference abstracts. Then we'll explain what abstracts really do, and finally, we'll talk about how to improve them. But first, a fun quiz. True or false? When you enter search terms into a database like PubMed or Scopus, it will search the abstracts and the full text of the articles. Think about it. It's actually false. The reality is, for the most part, databases are only searching the abstracts. That's part of why they're so important. Now we're going to cover some other surprising and maybe hard truths. Once a database returns search results, most people really are only going to read titles. And then based on those titles, some people will then decide to read the abstracts. The decision to read a full manuscript is usually based on the title and the abstract. The other thing is that most abstracts are tagged with subject headings, and the indexers and machine learning tools often only have access to just the abstracts when they're assigning those tags. If you're wondering about automated indexing, as of April 2022, all journals with articles indexed in Medline, aka PubMed, are actually done via machine learning with some human curation. Now, this has led to substantially faster indexing, but there is some cost. Below is an article about medical military students' professional identity formation. Like many qualitative studies, it uses a quote from a participant in the title. Now let's see how it was indexed. Notice anything interesting? That's right, syncope, the word for fainting, has been applied to the tags, though this isn't at all what this article is about. This means because of automated indexing, it's even more important you think carefully about your abstract. The other reason we offer this class is there's some research about abstract inconsistency in biomedical journals, as noted in this JAMA article from 1999. And if you think maybe we've solved this issue, actually, a scoping review from 2017 reported really similar findings, that abstracts are frequently inconsistent with the full reports and that efforts are needed to improve the consistency of abstract reporting in the primary biomedical community. So what should abstracts actually do? They really should summarize your paper, similar to a real estate listing for a house or apartment. Fundamentally, they should tell people what it's about, specifically, why did you do your study? What kind of study did you do? What you found, and why it matters. The challenge is often in answering those questions within the word count. Finally, an abstract should tell indexers and now machines how to tag or label your article. So how do abstracts function in databases? Most of the time, databases run search queries against titles and abstracts so that when a searcher creates a query, a set of keywords usually, the database runs that query against the title, abstract, keywords, and subject headings. Of course, sometimes authors will write using non-standard language, terms, or spellings. The indexing with tags is supposed to correct this so that articles will still be retrieved when they're relevant. For example, if the abstract is about soda, but the searcher used the term carbonated beverages, the indexing can make sure that the abstract is still found. Indexing expands an article's findability so that it will be more likely to be retrieved when it's relevant. So what do I mean by non-standard language? Well, some concepts really do have multiple names like synonyms such as car versus automobile. There are also very broad umbrella terms and narrower terms. For example, vehicle would be a broad term, whereas a sedan or van is a narrower term as it's a type of car. Then there are very specific makes and models. This can also vary based on the discipline, language, or country of origin. For example, choosing to use the term breastfeeding, lactation, or human milk feeding can really depend on your professional perspective. So now we're going to walk through some examples and see how they've been indexed with mesh headings. Look at this one about natural ingredients-based gummy bear composition. Notice that despite using the term gummy bear, this is really about supplements. Now let's look at the terms. Great, because they use the term supplements in this abstract, this is indexed with dietary supplements and gelatin. Now let's look at this one. Consumption of xylitol gummy bears may not provide additional caries prevention for school children. Now we're going to look at the mesh. Do you see anything kind of funny? Notice the mesh term, ursidae. PubMed thinks this article is about actual bears. This is a great example of why word choice really matters. Now we'll review a few examples to look at keyword choice. You may be aware, but sometimes journals will give authors the option to select keywords for their abstract. In this example, notice the keywords at the bottom: chocolate, craving, ecological momentary assessment, hunger, and a few others. And now let's look at the mesh headings. We see a nice mapping where the keywords really guided the indexing. This is one strategy for selecting your keywords. Now let's look at this example. Again, look at the keywords: PSD, color, encapsulation, green tea, and a few more. This time we don't see the same matching. This is probably a strategy on the author's part to use keywords that people might search on but are not mesh terms. They may be more specific to this topic or just other variations. This is a different strategy. In general, you should never assume that a reader or reviewer has access to the full text of your manuscript. You should also always remember that your abstract can play a role in if your manuscript is accepted, and almost always plays a role in whether it will be found. In some ways, it's one of the most important parts of your manuscript. When you're writing an abstract, usually it will be structured following the IMRAD model, meaning introduction, methods, results, and discussion. If it's an unstructured abstract, never fear. All good abstracts answer these 4 questions we discussed earlier. Why did you do your study? What kind of study did you do? And what did you find? And why does it matter? Now, if you think about it, these neatly align with the headings of a structured abstract. If you're struggling to write an unstructured abstract, start with the structured and then remove the headings and tie the sections together. So I've mentioned abstracts should be descriptive, but they also really need to be accurate. Take a moment to laugh at these 2 real estate photos. If you're ever unsure about what you're writing, ask yourself, am I turning a large closet into a bedroom? Your abstract should be an accurate description of your manuscript, much like a real estate listing needs to provide an accurate description of the features of a property. So when you're writing, I recommend you write most or all of your your manuscript first. Identify the journal's guidelines for abstracts and keep it descriptive without embellishing. I also suggest you avoid excessive citing of other works. This abstract should advertise your paper, not others. Think again of our real estate example. People are coming to see a specific house, not a larger neighborhood. Most importantly, all information that is in the abstract should be in your manuscript or in concordance with your manuscript. Now we'll talk a little more about word choice and keywords. These are a few strategies to consider depending on your topic. One choice may make more sense than another. It's important to think about the audience you're trying to reach and how they would search for articles like yours. When selecting keywords, one strategy is the narrower term. Maybe your abstract uses the word candy, but your keywords mention the specific brand or type you studied. Another option is synonyms. This is particularly relevant when a concept is in flux and the terminology is evolving. For example, a lot of words are used when talking about people who don't vaccinate, even if there's one mesh heading. Other times, you will select keywords to try and match a specific mesh heading. Maybe the mesh term is anxiety, and that's the keyword you've used. Finally, you may want to use the keywords for terms that are specific to your field or specialty. In general, always follow the journal's guidelines and keep in mind, if a keyword is present in your title or abstract, it's already being searched. Now, we'll review a few ways that you can use PubMed to discover keywords, specifically the Mesh Directory, Mesh on Demand, and the Advanced Search feature. To find individual mesh headings, you can go straight to the Mesh database. You can get to the Mesh database under the Explore section of the PubMed homepage. Now you'll see what Mesh on Demand looks like. You can copy and paste an abstract or even more text into this, and it will suggest mesh terms for you. I've copied and pasted title and abstract of a published systematic review that's already been indexed in PubMed. We'll look and see what terms Mesh on Demand suggests and how close it matches the actual terms that this article was tagged with. Mesh on Demand also returns similar articles and these mesh terms. Another option is to copy and paste your title into advanced search and check the details to see what PubMed's automatic term mapping returns. Now let's look at how this article is actually indexed. The terms in the green box are the actual mesh terms applied to the article. The center box are the mesh on demand terms, and the gray box is how PubMed Advanced Search interpreted the title. You'll notice some interesting differences across these three boxes. In general, though, these are great strategies to help you generate ideas for your keywords and also make sure that your title is probably a good fit. I hope you've enjoyed this class and learned a lot. Please reach out to the library at medical-librarian@duke.edu with any questions, and make sure to check out our other offerings.